everybody, Josh Jr. here for yet another in-shop adventure. You are looking at the past, I would say weeks-long project. I have been busy cutting Obsidian, getting ready for next year, my next season, which starts this fall. I'm getting close to wrapping up making cabochons and tumbling Obsidian for this year. Gonna get working on everything else I've got. You can probably hear the saw in the background, and I am cutting up some snowflake. So this is a video about some ongoing saw projects. And one of the first non-Obsidian, let's rephrase that, first pieces of material that's not Obsidian that I'm going to be cutting, other than this guy right here, which I am still stoked about because I did a full video on that stuff, is going to be something that I received. Oh, you see a hint right here. You see a hint down here at the bottom. Stuff that I received from my friend Kristen. So I'm going to be cutting on Missouri Lace Agate. I'm going to start with this one. This is all new material for me. I have zero experience with it. I have no idea how I'm going to work it, how I'm going to polish it, or anything. But see, since this is fairly clean, unlike this, or unlike this Jasper I've been working on, it will not cause a bunch of mud in the saw. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do that one yet. We're going to focus in on this guy. And I've got to figure out the best way to orient it into the saw to get the pattern out. And I figured I'd practice on this one, although this has got probably some of the coolest pattern. Look at that stuff. Just amazing. This one here has some pattern on it, like right there. But this here, I'm telling you, it is just, it's a busy piece. But I got to learn how to cut it, so I can learn how to work it and make things out of it. So I thought, you know, let's show you guys. We will all learn together. So if I mess up, you're going to know. And we're going to have little conversations about the different pieces in here. Oh, I just heard something go thump. Let's go check on that. Okay. I do have the automatic chain that stops this set, but since I'm in here, there's no reason to make it run any longer. And you can see the chain is pretty tight. And there we go, that slipped down. Let's take a look and see what we got here. That is pretty stinking cool. Yeah, I think I can handle this stuff. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good myself. And yes, from some of you that have seen my videos, this old saw, which has been used and abused prior to me getting it, is much cleaner. Even put some new chunks of wood in there for the vise. I've been working with a few little issues with this saw. It's just been acting a little strange. Feels like the saw blade is jumping a little bit. That's the best way to describe it. But it's still better than a tile saw. So, how do you like that snowflake obsidian? That is really interesting, having the small snowflake patterns. I have another chunk here with the big patterns on it that I plan on cutting as well to add to the inventory. So, other things in the works. Porcelain jasper. Stuff is incredible. Of course, you know about the Beers Mountain jasper. And, you know, I have a petrified wood project too that I'm going to be cutting some pieces off of. And that's going to be later on, probably here in a few weeks. And that's going to be fun too. A lot of work, but it's going to be fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until tomorrow, which will be a very quick time frame for you guys, because joys of technology here on the YouTube world, it only takes a second. So we will wait for tomorrow, unless you guys want to sit here and admire some root beer quartz on the Missouri Agate from see, it's Root Beer Hill at Haunted Ridge in Missouri. That stuff is pretty. Not going to be cutting this though. This is display. Okay, I've rambled on enough. We'll have some action tomorrow. Well, I am now doing some cutting of the bigger pattern snowflake. But with every win, it seems like there's a fail soon to follow. This piece is full of fractures. Give you an idea. Solid piece. Full of fractures. So I got to go through all these to see if there's any pieces in here I can salvage. I'm probably done cutting on that because I believe it's fractured all the way through. So, to go with some wins, there are some fails. See, that's got a fracture in it. So, but this is why we cut these things, just to find out, is there something good in them or not? Well, it's beautiful. It's wet from the oil. But I believe there's going to be more fractures in this. There's a couple hairline fractures in it. So, I don't know. I won't know until this fall when I start working this stuff again. But I'm going to keep cutting. But next, we'll walk you through getting the Missouri Lace mounted up in this. Here is the piece that we're going to cut. Now, again, I've never worked this material before, so I have no idea what I'm doing really. So I'm just doing what makes sense. And I have to keep in mind on how this saw operates. So what I'm thinking about doing is having it situated in the saw this way. So the saw will be going up against this flat edge. By pushing it up against this flat edge right here, it will reduce the chance of this flexing back and forth and end up with a better cut. Just how I do it with this saw. Have it at an angle, so this is in line with the saw right there. And we're going to cut off this bad spot here. And then we'll start cutting it deeper, and we'll probably get to about to here before I've got to take it out and get it glued to a board. But that's enough to get us started. And that's all I care about, is getting us started. Now, I have a 2x4 here. I have a small spacer in here, and then I have another spacer over here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because with this 2x4, when this jaw clamps down, the vise will stay straight. It has a tendency of doing back and forth like that. And as you tighten it up and it goes like that, it can cause this to move. So I try to keep it, this jaw here, straight as much as possible. And if I need to, for more reinforcing, I have some wedges I have cut that I can shove down in here next to the rock or underneath of it or something. But we'll see how things go. So we're going to go right to there. I think I'm all the way out. So what I want to do is bring that to there, and that to there. And this is a smaller rock, so it is a harder one to deal with. And I am going to need a wedge. So I'll put a wedge in right there, and then now I'm going to start cranking this down. And it's going to cut. The last cut will be somewhere in this area here. Like I said, this is just so I can get this glued onto a board so I can finish cutting it all up. This is one of the most challenging things when it comes to the lapidary work, is getting rocks situated. And sometimes it's a three-handed operation. Now, other people may not have a problem with it, but I do from time to time. Get another wedge in here. And let's start tightening it up, see what happens. And that's staying straight up and down as best I can get it. And I can do crank it on it pretty tight. Tug test. It's not going anywhere. So, I'm committed. Twist it one more time. And then we pull it back. And what I do is I pull it past so it can slide past the saw so I can set my stop chain. See, it's already stopped right there, so I have to adjust my chain, which is off camera. You can just kind of see it down here in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Not quite. One more link. That's good right there. That's plumb with that. So that's where it's going to be at. Now I'll bring it over. And I'm happy with that spot right there. Yeah, this first cut's going to be a challenge because there's a small flat piece on the other side where the saw is starting, but it could flex that way. It could flex that way real easily. And if it does, this first cut will have some saw marks in it. And I don't like saw marks. Even out of this thing, it makes me upset. But sometimes you have to deal with what you can deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the lid, fire this thing up, and next time you guys see it, we'll open the lid up after it's done and see what this first end cut looks like. We'll be getting rid of this garbage end, and we're going to start into some of this pattern here. Hopefully it'll be something good. And if there's a lot of pattern still in here, off of this end cut, I can move this over to my trim saw and I can take a small slab off of it and still capture a good piece out of it. So don't throw away your end cuts until you are 100% sure that there's nothing that's usable out of them, then throw them in the tumbler. Okay. I had a visitor the other day, Huggy the Rock Guy. Go check him out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Pretty cool cat. Now, let's open this up. Let's slide it back to see what we got. Well, here's the end cut. So what we'll do is we'll do this here. Yeah. Wow. That is incredible. Sweet looking. Okay, well, we put this end cut here. Well, not sure if there's anything that's usable here because of this material here in the middle. But I'm going to hang on to this. It's not going to just get tossed into the tumbler right yet. So, let's move this out. Everything is set. Pull the handle, pull back on it just a little bit, close the lid, and restart it. Okay, the first actual slab is done. So this red is going further, and it's real soft, it's mushy, into the rock. It's going in there further than I thought it would. And as you can tell, it's almost hollow. It's fine. We can still work material around here and work around here. Okay, I think okay, let me tweak that over just a little bit more. There we go. That is ready to take another slab. Yeah, stuff is absolutely gorgeous. So we might get one more slab off of this before it has to get glued in there, because see, there's not much space between this and the vise. So that means probably just one more slab. Well, the next slab is done. Now we're starting to get some good material. Now this stuff here is like dirt. Look at that. It just comes right on out. That's fine. Get it cleaned up. But look at this here, the area that I can work for getting cabochons out of it. Over there, that end over there, that looks pretty cool. Now, I'll change the angle up for you guys a little bit. Nope, I can't get any more. So I was pretty much maxed out where I could get. So this cab here is just roughly over a 1/4 inch thick, which is fine because I'll probably make smaller cabochons with this here. If the cabs are thicker, I'll make bigger cabochons out of them. It's kind of my style, the way I do it, my thought process. Generally, my cabs are 6 3/4 millimeter up to 7 3/4. So something like that. So 1/4 of an inch plus or minus some, a few 30-seconds. So we'll go ahead and pull this piece here out. And for those of you who might complain that, oh, I shouldn't be using stuff like this in my vise, take a lesson. Works very well. So there's that. So we will continue cutting this at another time. And in the future, I will go ahead and do a video of showing you my process of attaching these to a chunk of wood and continuing on cutting it so we can see what the rest of this is going to turn out to be like. So I'm going to let you guys go. Just remember, everyone's life is an adventure. Then there's mine, sitting here, cutting obsidian. Some turned out good, some failed, and cutting this beautiful Missouri Lace Agate. This is the Adventures of Jaws Jr. Have a good one, everybody. See ya.